everybody. Welcome. Okay, so we're trying to make, I guess, the Vedas accessible to young people because, you know, we've got a really rich culture, and I think we lose it a little bit in this country because we think it doesn't fit in with the values of Britain, and maybe being spiritual and following the Vedas might make us a bit boring and a bit dry, but actually we want to show you that actually it will enrich your life, it will enjoy life more. Hopefully you'll be able to follow everything. I think you guys have had 4 sessions so far, haven't you? Yeah? Happiness, karma, illusion, and you did Halloween ghosts last week. What did you learn last week? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. What did you? Anyone here have something that really stood out to them from the ghost session? Anyone? Did anything stick out for you? Did you learn anything new about ghosts that you didn't know before? They're scary.
What was quite scary was that even though you have like devotees and Krishna, ghosts can still hold them, even though if the devotees try and take them as
Okay, so we can still be haunted. Okay. What is a ghost? Subtle body. What does that mean?
They don't have the ghost material.
So what do they have?
They just have
Soul, okay. So you still have desires, but you just don't have a body to... But you'll give up the ghost body. So I just wanted to see how much they've discussed in the last session. Okay, so today's session is about sound and the effect of sound on us. And what this means for those of us who want to perhaps bring some spirituality in our lives, and kind of, you know, what's meditation about, what's chanting, what's prayer, what are all these things. So does everybody here listen to music? Anyone here not listen to music ever? Okay. What I'd like to do, we're going to start with a small exercise because you didn't have a very long icebreaker. If somebody could give up paper and pens, that would be good. Don't go to the shop and buy it. No, ready to Okay, but I'll just do it. Why don't you get the paper and pen? You know, they were talking about sound and hearing being the last sense to go when you die. Actually, if you look at it, our sense of hearing is probably our strongest sense. Yes, it's the last sense to go, but even if you're in a coma or asleep, our hearing is still really quite alert, which is why alarm clocks work, okay, which is why people in comas can still respond and, you know, have some connection with what you say to them. They always say if somebody's in a coma, you still sit next to them, speak kind words to them, you know, tell them that you're there, so that there'll be some awareness of it. In fact, our ability to hear, if we don't really have a control on it, we can be influenced by so many things. It's one of the reasons why adverts and music and everything we listen to has such an effect on us even if we don't pay attention. Now, if you look at it, everything you taste, touch, smell is really quite gross, quite tangible. And the effect of it's quite short-lived, yeah, and it's not, unless you keep doing it, to repeat that experience you have to actually complete the activity. But the boys were saying how with music and the sound, it can get stuck in your head, can't it? And you can just keep, it's like you have a repeated experience of that even if you don't play the music again. It's very difficult to do that with taste, and with touch, and with smell. Agree? Whereas with sound, with music, you can. One of the reasons that is because if you look around, we have solids, we have gases, we have liquids. We also, those of you who study science, you also know there's something called, what's the space in between called? Ether. Okay? So, you know, solids, gas, liquid, they all vibrate at a particular frequency, and the faster you go, the more subtle matter becomes. So the slowest vibrating molecules make solids. The medium, when a bit faster, it's liquid, a bit faster than that, makes gases, and you go faster than that and it makes ether. Okay? And then even faster than that we have sound. So sound, actually, one of the reasons it goes so fast is it travels through ether. Okay, it can bypass solids, liquids, gases, it travels through ether. And the important thing about this is, so rather than, he didn't mention that I'm a psychiatrist, okay, which is where the hypnosis things come from. So the psychiatrist in my field, it's very well understood that our thoughts, okay, are probably the most subtle thing we have. Okay? Thoughts also travel through ether. Now I'm going to come back to that. The reason I mention that thoughts also travel through ether is really there's a connection there. Sound has the ability to affect our mind even if we don't pay attention to it. Has anybody ever been at a party or in a loud, crowded room, talking to someone deep in conversation, and you hear your name from the other side of the room, or someone mentions your name, or you hear someone talking about you, your attention immediately goes there, doesn't it? Okay, you weren't paying attention to the rest. It's called the cocktail party effect. You weren't paying attention to that side of the room. It's only when you heard your name, you suddenly turned. Okay? Similarly, even if you're not paying attention to music, stuff can get me. Has anybody ever had a song that they really hate? Keep going over and over and over again in their mind. I hate this song, why does it keep going? Because your ears just literally influenced you. It has a hook. That's what they call it in the music industry. It's got something, a beat, a rhythm that your mind has very much gotten attracted to and attached to. It's also another reason why, one of the reasons people enjoy going to clubs, the music's so loud, okay, so overwhelming for the mind, that actually when you go into that atmosphere, whatever else was going on in your life before that, you forget about it. Because you go in and that music, that sound, that beat, that rhythm, actually that vibration almost overwhelms you. It overrides any other thought that's going on in your mind. So, by understanding that, actually, it can be quite scary, because that means, hang on a minute, I'm being influenced by words, by energy, by sounds, by other people's influence, without really knowing that I'm being influenced. Okay, so one of the reasons radio adverts work, TV adverts work, they plug into our mind by using sound, by using words. They use it in airports as well. Has anybody heard of subliminal messages, subliminal learning? Okay, I've told this story, some of you might have heard this story before. When I was studying for my GCSEs, a long time ago, all this subliminal learning thing was kind of, yeah, you've got to try, you've got to try. So I recorded my voice reading my geography textbook, and I put the tape on, we had cassette players then, and I plugged it in, and I went to sleep. And, my own voice quickly put me to sleep. And when I woke up the next day, we went in, we had mock exams, and, to be honest, I don't remember going, oh, what did I say on this word? I was writing and stuff just started coming back to me. I don't know where it was. So, my consciousness, my mind was affected by what it was hearing even at night time. But one of the other proof, if you've never had subliminal learning, one of the other proofs that are out there, or evidence that we're affected even in our sleep, is look at our dreams. Our dreams are influenced by the sounds around us. So if the fire engine goes off, that might get incorporated in the dream. If your alarm goes off, who's ever switched off the alarm only to go back to sleep thinking, yeah, I've gotten out, I've had a shower, I've changed my clothes, and then you find out actually I was asleep and I was just doing that in my dream. I've done that. Anybody else, right? So, I'm half an hour late down, that was just in my sleep. So sound has a very, very, very powerful effect on us, and it has the ability to transform our thoughts. The other thing about sound is, because it can travel through ether, it has the ability to affect solids, liquids, and gases. Okay, it can move them, literally move them out of its way. It can also travel through them, right? It's not, you have to have pretty heavy soundproofing to keep sound contained within one room. It travels very, very easily. So, again, some examples. Anybody heard of sonic weapons? The oldest sonic weapons, we hear about them in Mahabharata. Okay, we hear about warriors fighting with mantra. Okay, when you hear about the Brahmastra, it's not a bow and arrow. It looks like a bow and arrow, but actually when Arjuna uses it, he chants a mantra, and that weapon is then uploaded with something which is a sonic weapon. Even now, the US Defense Ministry, even years ago, they started this developing sonic weapons. An opera singer or somebody who can hit a very, very high note can shatter glass. Okay, there are some sounds which aren't even audible to human ears, but dogs or bats, they can hear them. Yeah, so sound is very, very powerful. Okay, so just like there are sounds that can affect solid matter, there are sounds that can affect liquid. Okay, there have been studies on water. A German scientist did a study. He put 3 glasses of water to freeze, and you play different types of music next to each cup of water. And the way the ice crystal formed was completely different depending on the type of music that was played. So he played very gentle, beautiful, classical music to one, played very upbeat music to another, next to another cup, and next to another one he played very angry, heavy metal music. And what he noticed was the more beautiful the music, the more positive the music, the more beautiful the structures, the crystal structures of the ice when you looked under the microscope. The sound is extremely, extremely powerful. So what I'd like you to do is, this isn't going to take long, I want you to just answer a few questions for me. Reflect, these are personal to you, if you want to share them carry later on. First question I'd like you to think about is, when you want cheering up, what music do you listen to? Think of one or two songs that you think, yeah, or an artist that you think, yeah, when I need to cheer up, I listen to this song. Relax, find it makes you happy. Anyone else?
Hip-hop.
Hip-hop? Who said hip-hop? I didn't see that. Okay. Any particular track?
Well, there's a track called Ether.
Say that.
There's a track called Ether.
Ether.
Particularly like Citi Shakti.
It's called Ether.
Yeah,
Do you know any lyrics from it?
It's really inappropriate.
It's really inappropriate, but it makes you happy. What is it about the song that makes you happy? Is it the lyrics or is it the music?
Both.
The words make you happy even though they're inappropriate.
Because this one is particularly, if you know what I mean.
Will you just tell me the words are really inappropriate? Is there not even one line in it that you can say?
Wait, mother. Are you going to say the end? Yeah, what?
Guys! Go on, Bruno Mars, any particular song? Do you have a particular song that you like? Okay. So anybody know a lyric from Runaway? Okay, Runaway. Okay, Alma. You don't have to sing it, you can just say it. If you get picked up first, you don't get picked up again.
London knows the whole song.
We know what. Do you know what? If you're happy and you know it, that's from the Bruno Mars Runaway song. Oh, that's another song. You like that song? Yeah. So you play that when you're happy. You like cheering on. You think you're great? Okay, so you're happy. You guys, can you please listen to each other? Bollywood, anyone? Bollywood, any particular song? Okay. Any particular lyrics? You don't have to sing, you can just say it. You can translate as well because not everybody knows Hindi. Unless you want to do it.
Wait, which song? What song is it?
Apart from if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands and the word. Nobody's giving me any lyrics from the songs they're listening to. Do you guys not know? Yeah. Listen,
Ain't no west, east, west, north, south.
okay, that's very positive. So there's no one better, right? East, west, north, and south. Okay, so that's pretty upbeat. Anything else? Anyone ever have no? Guys, can you please listen to this one? I know this is funny. Person happy. Happy. The
I hate that song.
Because I'm happy.
Alright, okay, what do you listen to relax? Different volunteers now. Sahil. Can you please listen to Sahil? Do you actually listen to piano instrumentals to relax? Do you really? Okay. Anyone else? The Frozen soundtrack. Okay. Boys, what do you listen to to relax? What do you listen to?
Like.
Don't look away, huh?
19.
Can you guys please listen to each other? It's not really fair of other people. Both are, okay. Anyone listen to something completely different? Like Diamond. Have you got a lyric? The soundtrack says it's mostly instrumental. Guys!
It's an interesting one in ours. We've got recording of birds
Okay, that's good.
and whale sounds.
So nature.
Whale sounds.
No, but you know what? These are very relaxing sounds. Whale sounds, birds, rain falling. Okay, so there's not much difference in the relaxing sounds. Apparently, the classical music is apparently supposed to make you more intelligent. It's supposed to be to study to.
Because I really like films, I like classical music, but imagining something funny is happening. Generally have classical music to a really
Okay, so you have a different movie playing to the music. Okay. What music did you write down that you absolutely do not listen to?
Opera.
Opera. Why did you listen to opera?
Because the way it just sounds is really great.
It's annoying. Okay. Anyone else? Having this girls? Music?
Heavy metal.
Huh? Heavy metal. Why don't you listen to heavy metal? Huh? You don't understand music. It's like person shouting. It's quite aggressive. So people seem to either love heavy metal or just don't listen to it. You don't really get people who go, oh yeah, dabble in heavy metal. People are really into it or they just don't like it.
No, I'm okay with it.
You're okay? Soft heavy metal, like soft metal or heavy metal?
I'm not against it. I'm like in the middle.
Do you listen to it? So you buy records? Okay, I don't know what that is. Can somebody give me an example of that?
Frag! Frag!
Over the top dubstep.
Yeah, what's dubstep?
Help some lady out.
Stand up, stand up. Stand up, stand up. Stand up.
You want me to give example?
Please? Yeah. Because I don't know what it is.
That's
So you don't like that?
No, that's a stop.
Over the top. Okay. Anything else? Anyone have anything different that they avoid? English music. You avoid English music. You only listen to Bollywood. You avoid. Why? Why do you avoid Bollywood?
Because it's so bad.
Fight scene!
Those of you who love Bollywood music, this side doesn't hate it on that side. No, it's good. You didn't get that. Really, you hate it? Do you actually avoid it? I hate it. Find something to where you go to downhill.
Who said that?
Anyone have anything else they'd like to mention? No? Okay. things. Two things stood out. One is actually, we're very clear about that certain sounds have a certain effect on us. Are you trying to brainwash him into liking Bollywood? Are you trying to brainwash him into liking Bollywood? So you were very clear about the effect certain sounds have on you, and they were pretty similar. It's not all of a sudden that someone was saying, oh, heavy metal is really beautiful and relaxing. I mean, you said you would tolerate it, but generally the consensus is it's quite shouty, quite angry, quite aggressive. There's certain tunes which make you feel happy, certain tunes that relax you. But the other thing that's is not many of you really pay attention to the lyrics that much. And the lyrics count for a lot. Because it's not just the music that affects us, the words also. If you're having a song in your head that you hate, and you're repeating those lyrics, and you think about what you're actually repeating, next time you do that, think about what you're repeating. Because some of the songs we listen to have very positive messages, and some of them have really quite negative messages. And the reason I'm saying that that's important is because we all have a subconscious, okay? What's in our consciousness is actually a very small amount of what goes in and out and is processed in our mind. Very small amount. The rest of it gets dumped in our subconscious. Now the problem with the subconscious is we don't know when, firstly, and how stuff from the subconscious come up and come into our consciousness. Sometimes we have dreams, and has anybody ever had a dream which was so weird and abstract that you just thought, that just did not make any sense? Yeah? Anybody had a dream where they expressed a desire and they thought, oh, I didn't even know I liked that or that person or that thing or wanted to do that? Right? Stuff comes up from your subconscious. Okay? It's like there's an analogy that explains. It's like if you look at a cup of water. Okay? It's still, but water has little air bubbles in it, and you don't really know they're there until one comes to the surface and goes pop. Okay? In a glass of Coke, it's very obvious. With water, it's less obvious. So subconscious is like that. You don't know when stuff's going to come up from your subconscious and when it's going to go pop in your consciousness. So the sounds we hear are really, really important because they also get buried and programmed into our subconscious. So if you're listening to lyrics, be careful what you listen to. And I'm not saying this to be biddy and say, make sure you listen to positive music, but because all of these things, they affect our desires, they affect our emotions, they affect how we make choices in life. Okay? So bringing it back onto the effect of sound. So we talked about how sound effects matter, how sound can affect the mind, okay? How sound can even affect the body. Then we move on to, is there a sound that can be pitched to a level that can affect that inner part of me? We've been talking a lot about the soul in the last few sessions. That bit of ourselves that observes everything. It doesn't matter how the mind is changing, our personalities have changed. None of us are exactly the same as we were when we were 2 or 3 years old. Our bodies change, our tastes have changed, the way we connect with others has changed. All of that's changed. But there's a bit of us that's continued being observed, a bit that we call me. Okay, this is the bit that gives consciousness. This is our consciousness, our awareness, and this is what's called the soul or the spirit. So, is there sound that can activate and nourish and connect with that part of us? Of course there is. There has to be. Okay, there's a sound for everything. There's a reciprocal sound which resonates with every type of vibration in creation. Okay, there's a sound that whales can hear. I mean, so there's a theory. I don't know if there's truth in this theory, but there's a theory that the sound that whales produce, the calls that they have, is pitched at a frequency which we can only hear some of it. There are other frequencies there which apparently people from other, entities from other aliens from other planets, they can actually lock into that sound. And the sound that the whales make is supposed to be protected to the Earth planet. There you go. So there's a sound for everything. Okay? In the last 30 years, the effect of sound on the body and the mind has been really, really sudden. There's been a lot of research on meditation, different types of meditation, and the benefits of meditation on the body and the mind. Okay, now, those of you who've been before, we do hear them at the end. You know, we're always talking about chanting Hare Krishna. There's beads, we have in the books, it's always telling us that, you know, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. Why? Why should we be chanting Hare Krishna? I want to start at the basic level. Okay, if we just look at it in terms of sound, can have a positive or negative effect on our mind and our body. Let's just start there. Okay? Is anybody here familiar with any research or read anything about the benefits of meditation on the mind or the body? Is anybody ever looked into it? No one? Okay. So those of you who can, let's start with physically. So what are some of the effects of meditation, particularly meditating on words and sound vibration, mantra meditation, on the body? What does it do?
Makes you feel calm.
Okay, so in your body, what might be changing when you're feeling calm?
Your breath slows down.
Okay, so your breathing slows down. What else?
Blood pressure slows down.
Excellent. So your blood pressure reduces. Your blood pressure reduces. What else? What else? Your heartbeat doesn't go in time with music. You die. Reduced heart rate. Okay. So, anybody else have anything else? Anyone? Okay. It boosts your immune system. Okay. So your breathing slows down, your blood pressure goes down, your heart rate goes down, and your immune system is boosted. And what's that going to lead to?
So how does it, like, top three I can get because you're like relaxing, but how does it boost the immune system?
Because your steroid levels are down, because you're relaxed, so then your immune system is more active. When steroids are high, when you're stressed, that suppresses your immune system. Anything else on physical?
Serotonin levels.
Very good. Serotonin affects your mind. Put that in. What does serotonin do? Do you know?
Like makes you feel happy, right? It's a helpful with that.
Yeah.
Lowers anxiety levels.
Good. So you reduce anxiety. Anything else psychological since we moved on to that? Good. So improved, it's called cognitive function, okay? So that's your ability to process, your ability to focus, your ability to discriminate. Okay, so studies show that people who are regularly doing meditation are much healthier, okay, have lower blood pressure, and also they studied groups, young people who took exams, who were studying for exams, and they had one group who were regularly meditating and a group who weren't. And the group who were meditating, after they were matched for demographics and IQ, etc., did far better than those who weren't meditating. They were able to focus. Anything else on the psychological?
Would dopamine do like decrease?
Dopamine affects, dopamine is one of those neutral kind of hormones where it affects different parts of the brain differently. The main mediator we notice is serotonin and noradrenaline. I'll put noradrenaline as well. But basically in a nutshell, you also get increased endorphins, which you also get when you exercise. Okay, endorphins are basically your own internal opiate. Okay, they're your body's natural drug. We'll go out and they look for opiates to get high. Our brain makes them automatically. We don't need to look outside of ourselves. So, meditation has got huge, huge benefits. If someone was to, even in our clinics, in the NHS, in the private sector, in mental health, it's becoming widely recognised, and meditation and relaxation are key tools for people to not just prevent mental illness, but also recover from mental illness. They don't necessarily replace other treatments, because there is a biological bit to us. We do have a brain which can sometimes malfunction, and so you do need medication. But there's certainly a role for meditation and relaxation in helping to keep the mind healthy, and definitely in keeping the body healthy. Okay, so this brings me on to... So, did anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah, as you're saying, then for the large government stuff, like for both mathematics, just so what they say, the most like effective course of the argument notation. So like people like want to do sort of stuff, and then like we suffer from that. They really making big notation stuff, and they sort of really effective. That's most effective. So
Yeah, really powerful. So this brings me on to the spiritual. So, you know, there are different, if you look at the world religions, what's one of the things that all the world religions have in common? Right, exactly. You know, their dress is different, the language is different, the food is different, the ideas about marriage and kids are different, attitudes towards others, you know, serve other people, love your neighbour, those kinds of things are common, and also this concept, this aspect of prayer. Okay, this aspect of using words as a way of communicating. Okay, so just like our body and our mind needs nourishing, so we need nourishing. Deep down inside we need nourishing. And mantra, actually, if you break down the word, man means mind and tra means to free. Okay, so mantra, by nature, that is a collection of words which actually free our mind from anxiety. Free our mind also from something that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita is inherent to the mind, is to fall under illusion. Okay? And the biggest illusion that Krishna talks about to Arjuna is that thinking that this is me, this is all there is to me. He explains to Arjuna that the main reason you're unhappy is because you think your beginning and end is just this. And because you think this is your beginning and end, you misperceive everything. Okay? It's like if you have £1 million but you walk around thinking you're a pauper and you have nothing in your bank account, you're living your life, you know, with your hands tied behind your back, because firstly you're under some sort of delusion or illusion, and secondly you're not going to have goals, realistic goals, and realistic standards, because your standards and goals are going to be based on thinking you have no money when actually you have a lot of money. Okay, so this illusion or delusion that we have, that this is all there is to us, or working on that platform, or living on that platform, actually we sell ourselves short, we shoot ourselves in the foot, we don't maximise anything we do. We don't maximise our study, we don't maximise our work, we don't maximise our relationships, because we keep depending on this. Okay? We keep depending on a bank account which has very little in it. Okay? I'm sure everybody here, if they were told they're actually a secret millionaire and nobody had ever told them, you'd all be jumping for joy, and the first thing you'd do is revise your expenses on your clothes, on your beauty products, on your sports stuff, you know, whatever, whatever gear it is that you like, you know, girls also sports stuff, I'm not trying to be sexist here, you know. So whatever it is, you're going to revise how you enjoy yourself based on your budget, right? So actually, understanding that there's more to us than this body and mind, actually, it doesn't restrict us. What it gives us is another way to be happy, and to be happy in a very long-lasting way. Right? And that happiness, spiritually, one of the first things people notice when they start chanting, and actually this works with any word, is it starts to change your desires. So ordinary words, you know, they're geared towards adverts, for example. If I said to everybody, name a toothpaste product, everybody, I've been doing this for like 17 years, everybody says Colgate. It's always the first one everyone says. Okay? Colgate's always the first one. Why? Because even if Colgate's not at home, even if it's not on your bathroom shelf, it's the one that's very advertised, it's very present in our consciousness. Okay? If I said to mention a soft drink, Fanta, Coca-Cola, but they're the prominent, Fanta's owned by Coca-Cola. You know, so it's the ones that are prominent. You might not even drink Coke, you might drink Asda brand Coke, you know about Coke. Okay? So words have such a great impact, they change our desires, we base our desires on what we hear, okay? On our fashion attitudes based on what we hear, our attitudes towards clothes, our attitudes towards music, our attitudes towards so many things based on what we hear. So similarly, when we're saying words repeatedly which are nourishing the soul, the first thing they do is they change our desires. They change what we're attracted to. Okay? So if anybody heard of positive thinking and positive messaging and standing in front of the mirror and giving yourself positive, like you're wonderful, you're going to be successful, you're going to be great. right? And if you keep saying that, actually it makes you believe it. Because we do, we start to believe things that we repeatedly say to us. Okay? So what happens with mantra is it starts to change not just what we desire, but how we perceive things. So we start to connect with things differently. So just like negative words make us perceive things negatively, if you might be the slimmest person in the world, but if you've been, while you were younger, someone kept telling you were fat, you were fat, you were fat, you were fat, or you kept telling yourself that, it doesn't matter how many mirrors people put in front of you, it doesn't matter how many size 6 or size 8 labels, you see in your clothes, you still perceive yourself as obese. So this is how powerful words can be. So similarly, when we chant mantras, they actually change our desires. They change our desires to be attracted to those things that nourish the soul more, and actually not being interested in those things that take ourselves away from nourishing ourselves. Okay? So all these things, we hear about restrictions. No, we're supposed to be vegetarian. So you don't want me to listen to angry music. No, you want me to chant, but that just sounds really boring. And how am I going to fit in with my friends if I don't drink, or if I don't eat meat, The thing is, it's not restrictive. It's about very organically, very naturally changing. Just like you're tasting clothes now. Nobody held a knife to your throat and said you have to wear the clothes you wear now. Your taste has changed. When you were younger, your taste in clothes was probably very different to now. Okay? Especially when you were very young, probably before 10. The clothes you wore probably were much brighter. I mean, everybody here is pretty much in blue, grey or black with a bit of red splashed in and purple, but they're just splashing. Blue, grey and black, they're the colours of England and cold country. When we were younger, we wore pinks and purples. You go to any kid's shop, the clothes are really diverse in colour. Okay, but it happened to you naturally. Nobody came and all of a sudden said to you, you have to start wearing it. It happened naturally. Similarly, the changes in our desires to doing things which are better for us, they happen naturally. So one starts to lose the taste, perhaps. For some of the things that initially looked are prohibited, it's not about prohibition, it's about I make a choice. So for example, when I was at university, I was very easily able to, people said to me, why don't you drink? Why don't you eat meat? Now most of my friends are saying, I'm not allowed, my religion doesn't allow me to. I was very confident saying, actually I'm choosing not to because I know what the effect of these are on me, and actually I have no taste for them. Okay, it's much easier to commit to anything if we know why we're doing it and we actually don't have a taste for the things we're not supposed to do. And the wonderful thing about Krishna consciousness is actually there's less things we don't do and more things that we do. Okay, so those of you who enjoyed a wonderful meal before you came in here, it's not that you stop eating. There's just as much wonderful vegetarian food, if not more, as there is other things, and also food that's cooked with love. It makes a huge, huge, huge difference. I mean, if our mum makes us beans on toast, it probably tastes nicer than beans on toast outside. Why? Because she cooks it with love. Okay, so attitude is really, really important. So the first thing that changes is our desires change. So what happens when our desires change? What's the next thing to change? So our actions change. And when our actions change, then what happens? Okay, so the results you get from your actions, and then your future changes. Okay, like I said, if you know you've got millions in your bank account, you're going to have a different future because you'll set yourself different goals. If you know, hang on, I'm eternally blissful, I have full wisdom within me, and actually I'm not going to die, I'm just going to discard this body like a person gives up clothes, actually makes you feel very, very stable, very, very calm. Because one of the things that we're always fearful of is loss. We're scared of losing our loved ones, we're scared of losing our beauty, we're scared of losing our ability to enjoy, we don't want to get sick, we don't want wrinkles, we don't want a short life, we don't want a lack of money, we want the ability to enjoy. But actually when we feel enjoyment and peace inside, and happiness inside, and we're less dependent on external things, life, you become fearless. Nothing scares you. Is a millionaire scared of poverty? No. Even if someone says again, you're poor, you're poor, you're poor, you're poor, it makes no difference. Actually, they don't even feel insulted because they know what they have. Okay? So, the whole idea behind chanting and mantra meditation is, yes, the physical impact is great, the psychological impact is fantastic, but actually the transformation it takes that takes place in the heart. That is the most massive. Okay, so our desires change, our actions, our results, and ultimately our future. Okay? But there's another thing. I need to show you my diagram. I've been doing this same diagram for about 17 years as well. It's not got any better. So you see here, I've drawn, bold marker, it's the outline of the body, that's our gross body. And then we have dotted marker, you learned about the subtle body last time, the mind, intelligence, and perceiving. So we have our mind, our place where we process everything that the senses send us. Our intelligence, where we discriminate what we want to do with what our mind's got. And of course, ego. Ego means my sense of I, and false means our sense of I when we misidentify with this you, I. That's all carried in the mind. Okay? These two bits of us, the gross body and subtle body, they're temporary. When we no longer need them, we get rid of them. What's permanent about us is, Krishna explains in the Gita, he says to Arjuna, he says, you are amazing, your spirit soul, you have no beginning, no end. You are eternal, you're full of knowledge and full of bliss. You can't be cut, burned, wet, nothing can't be damaged. Okay? And you are eternally connected to me. So if you think about identity, all of our identities are in relationship to someone. Right? With someone's daughter, mother, sister, brother, aunt, uncle. We work for someone, we study somewhere. Our identity is always relative to something or someone. So our spiritual identity also fully manifests when we connect with our source, when we connect with Krishna. So actually, what the mantra does is connect us with Krishna. Okay, it's the first thing you do when you connect with anyone is you call them by their name, right? When you meet someone, you say, what's your name? You don't ask them what's your mum's name or what's your dad's name. Maybe in some places. But generally, we ask people, what's your name? Then we ask about their age, where they study, what they do, what they like and dislikes. And our name is so powerful, even for us, we have the cocktail effect. Crowded room, our name says go whoop. Same for Krishna. You call his name, he'll turn and look at you. Okay? But just like us, the way we turn and look at someone very much depends on what they call us. Right? If somebody calls you and shouts at you and swears, you turn and look angry. You might even ignore them. But if someone calls you very sweetly, not only will you turn and look at them, but you turn and look at them with love. Okay, so our attitude, our approach to how we chant is really important. And it doesn't matter whether it's in kirtan when we're all dancing and having a good time, or whether you're silently chanting on your beads. So the other thing with spiritual benefit is that we reconnect. Okay? So we reconnect with Krishna. Now why chanting? Why is it universally, I guess, prayer, word, spiritual word, why is that universally, unanimously across all the religions? It doesn't matter which religion it is, probably the major way that people practice and connect with God. Have you guys done the 4 ages? Did anyone do the 4 ages? Are you guys familiar with the Vedic concept of 4 ages in time? Okay. For those of you who are, just to kind of, the Srimad Bhagavatam has so much, and I thought Hinduism was just, oh yeah, don't eat meat and reincarnation. That's it, when I was young, that's what I thought it was until I opened these books. And it's phenomenal, the amount of knowledge that's there. I mean, mathematics, medicine, cosmology, law books, we have all sorts of stuff, but the spiritual knowledge is second to none. I mean, the Vedas talk about time being cyclical, and time having ages. Okay, we have, in science we learn about the Iron Age and the Stone Age and the Prehistoric Age and blah blah. And each age is defined by certain characteristics, right? There's certain characteristics for the Iron Age, certain characteristics for Prehistoric Age, etc. People are of a particular type of tools they use. But the Vedas, they describe 4 particular ages that keep cycling. So you have the Golden Age, Satyug. You have the Silver Age, Treta, you have Bronze Age, Dwapara Yuga, and you have Kali Yuga now, which is the Iron Age. And with each age, and I hope I'm not rushing this because this is a whole session in itself, with each age what we find is the kind of bodies we have, start off at their most intelligent and most pious in Satyug. Okay, so the human beings on this planet in Satyug were extremely pious and extremely intelligent. You're so intelligent that you just had to hear something once and you'd remember it eternally. There were no books and paper, there was no need for it. Okay? So all knowledge was passed down by word. So that's why the Vedas were only written down 5,000 years ago, because before that everything was passed down by word. Then as you go to the next stage, our lifespan decreases by a factor of 10, our intelligence decreases by a factor of 10, and our piety decreases by a factor of 10. Same, then, again, by a factor of 10, all three of those things in Dwapara, and again in Kali Yuga. So by the time you get to our age, we have the shortest lifespan, just 100 years. We have only a tenth of the intelligence we had in Satyug. And there's not much piety left at all. I mean, for most people, religion is something they covet and something they use as an identity rather than deep spirituality. Yeah? So piety is scarce. This is known as the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So the Bhagavatam also talks about that in each age, there is an opportunity and a way for us to realize ourselves and to connect with Krishna. So Satyug, and the process you're given very much depends on your attributes. Okay, Krishna's, God's got to be an equal opportunities person. He's not racist. Okay, he's the most intelligent. He knows all our abilities and our weaknesses. Okay, so he's going to make it as easy as possible and as practical as possible. Same benefit that one gets in Satyug through meditation, in Dwapara through fire sacrifice. And by fire sacrifice, everybody here has probably been to a havan, or at least seen a havan, even at a wedding or they've had other havans, fire sacrifice. And what, do you get tired after half an hour? Your legs start hurting, it's getting boring, it's getting hot. Most people can't tolerate them. In Dwapara, these used to last for days and months. And what was offered, the prayers, ablutions, were very, very, very intricate. So the same benefit that was in Satyug for meditation, and when I mean meditation, I mean sitting very, very silently. Okay? And in Satyug from fire sacrifice, same benefit is gotten in Dwapara from temple deity worship. You look at our oldest temples in India, the ones which are 5,000 years old, they're huge, they're intricate. They're not like the temples we build now. Temples we build now are really quite simple compared to previously. That same benefit that you get in each of those ages, in this age, you get from chanting God's name. In Christianity, they say chant God's name. In Islam, they have the 99 names of Allah. Okay? In Judaism, they don't chant God's name, because they're not allowed to say God's name, but they read. They read it. They have the word of God's name, but they're not allowed to say it, which is unusual. I've never asked why. Now I'm thinking I should ask someone why. But generally, this idea of prayer is this idea of using sound to wake up the soul. I would like to try something with all of you, because this I always feel like telling you the benefits of mantra meditation psychologically, biologically, and spiritually. Almost sounds clinical, almost like these are the reasons, these are the pros, these are why you should do it. Almost feels like at the moment just a bit abstract, just theory. And I know all of you have experienced, or most of you here have experienced chanting in kirtan. But the really key thing about chanting and the deepest thing about it is that actually we get to feel loved all the time. Not rejection, not hatred, not disappointment if we've let someone down, but that love, that unconditional love that Krishna has for us. And actually chanting is the best way to experience that, because when we can experience it through chanting, then we start to experience it in all of our other interactions. If you're feeling completely loved inside, we're then no longer just dependent on other people to love us. We feel so fulfilled that actually it doesn't really matter how other people treat us. We become carriers of that love, and we start to transform other people's hearts. And it's really, really, really powerful. It's a really amazing place to be. If you've ever met somebody who is really relishing Krishna's names like that, you know you're in their presence, because when you're with them, you feel happy, you feel loved. Even if they don't utter a word to you, you feel some connection. And some of you may have already met this.